British troops are looking beyond current operations and into the future in order to start preparing for the threat they might be facing by the end of the decade. An experimental exercise is taking place in northeastern France, where the army is making use of the largest urban warfare training facility in Europe. Julie Knox has been with them, and in the first of a series of exclusive reports, she takes us on a tour of the facility.
Welcome to Joffrecourt. Now, this may be a fictitious town, but the British troops who are finding themselves in combat here are pretty impressed with the amount of realistic detail that's been put into the facility. Let's have a look around. These sorts of structures are similar to those we have on Salisbury Plain. The Cope Hill Down training village was modelled on something that was a bit German. But look what's over here. We've got an old town square, an historic centre. There are shops, there are municipal buildings. There are likely to be a lot of people congregating in places like this. This throws up questions that troops are going to have to think about in urban situations in the future. How do I know that building's safe? How do I know the civilian population doesn't pose a threat to me?
Enemies under subway! Pass me a grenade!
These facilities are so much more interactive for the troops. And there's a man upstairs, and he's always watching.
It is that level of Big Brother in watching you, which can be a bit frightening, unlike anything that most British soldiers have ever seen.
There are a dozen high-rise buildings, some of them residential, others for businesses, and they pose their own unique challenges for infantrymen and for troops arriving in the air.
You've got to keep your eyes about all the time because there are so many different obstacles to keep your eye on, so many different aerials that are popping up from different obstacles that are difficult to spot.
Of course, I am probably enjoying myself a bit too much in this big doll's house. Let's not forget that the world this exercise is envisaging is going to be a frightening place. There are going to be tanks in the streets. Urban warfare in about the next 10 years is something the British Army needs to train for. But there's training and there's training.
Clear?
Several of the buildings, in fact even individual rooms, have sensors like these on them. They're quite similar to the ones the soldiers wear on their TES vests. That means that those people watching back at control can see where everybody is, who's been hurt, what's been damaged and who done it.
The reaction pretty much every time is jaw-dropping, and they just stare at it in disbelief and go, wow.
Our next engagement is unlikely to be anything like we've seen before, so it's important we're doing stuff like this, and with TES casualties we can bring them back to life and have a think about what went wrong and what went well.
And over on the other side of town, an industrial estate, and its buildings aren't just for show, they can be garaging for the armoured vehicles and forming up points before a battle. Building Joffrecourt has cost the French army €40 million, but they haven't left anything out. You leave the town centre, what do you arrive at? The motorway and the flyover, and I haven't even found the underground car park yet. The battle serials are run repeatedly with tweaks made each time to the tactics or to the amount of equipment at the armoured infanteer's disposal, with the data being collected to influence future force development. In our next special report, we'll examine the interaction between the various units on Exercise Urban Warrior and whether more regular interaction with allies on their turf may be the key to a shrunken military's survival post-2020. Julie Knox, Forces News, Northern France.